Hello, I am Mariel Hemingway, and I am currently working on promoting two books, two memoirs. One is called Invisible Girl, and Invisible Girl is my perspective as a 14-year-old looking back on my family. The second book is called Out Came the Sun, this one. It's basically sort of my journey, trying to understand my family, loving my family, not understanding them, and sort of coming to grips with the patterns that I've had throughout my life and why I have those patterns. And I think all of our patterns sort of stem from where we come from. So those are the two projects that I'm most passionate about now. I speak all over the country and the world about mental health, but telling your story, and just about and how physical health and spiritual health helps balance your mental well-being as well. It's sort of funny. I made this documentary called Running from Crazy because that's what I thought I was doing. My entire life was running from, I have two sisters who suffered from mental illness. One committed suicide. My grandfather committed suicide. His father committed suicide. My grandmother's father committed suicide. So there's this legacy of suicides, mental illness, addiction, all of these things. And so I made this documentary, and it was more focused on the suicide, more focused on my sister's journey, kind of trying to understand who she was and why she took her own life, based on the family that we came from. I think when we have a lack of knowledge of our history, we are limited in our ability to make healthy choices for ourselves, because you realize that you've repeated patterns throughout your life, but they're survival patterns. They've actually served you to a certain degree, but then there's a certain point that they don't serve you anymore, but you keep repeating them. And that's what this whole journey has been about. So I literally, in Out Came the Sun, I tell my story from the very beginning, of what it was like to be in this family that I loved so much, but that we're so unable to communicate. Hence why I married somebody for 24 years in a marriage where I couldn't communicate. We repeat things. Some things you kind of really stray away from and you think, I'm so different. But the truth is, you kind of when you have problems, if you really look at where you came from, you can see exactly why you make the choices that you make. So that sort of excavation, that uncovering of our deepest fears turns out to be the biggest freedom. Ernest Hemingway is incredible. People say, oh, it must be really hard. I'm like, what's hard about being the granddaughter of somebody who is extraordinary? And he was incredible. He was one of the greatest writers of the 21st century, and he probably will go on to be one of the greatest writers of centuries to come. What a blessing that is. I just feel honored that I'm a part of this legacy. And with that legacy comes this incredible creativity, this incredible understanding of the world. And some of his quotes are so powerful. If you read Ernest Hemingway's quotes about life, he really got it at a deep level. I think that his problem came from living in a time that didn't understand mental balance and what have you, didn't understand that addiction, which was really just self-medicating sadness, darkness, which was perpetual, which actually made it worse, because, when you self-medicate sort of darkness, you get only darker. And that was sort of his demise, but within that, there are these glimmers of amazing creativity and loving to live life in a big, big way. I just think being a part of that heritage is just incredible.